Okay, here's your studies weekly. You're welcome. Thank you for using such good manners. You're welcome. Okay, so before we go into detail, looking at that front page, does anybody know what we're going to discuss today? Just by looking at the pictures on that front page. What do you think? What do you think, Fatima? Scientists. What else? What do you think, Maximo?
Inventors.
Inventors. Very good. All right. Let's see here. So let's go ahead and look at this. On the front page, scientists and inventors. We're going to read through this together. Actually, this is all jumped all over, so I'll just read this to you, but follow along. The first picture is a guy named Orville Wright and Wilbur Wright. Do you think they're related?
Yeah. No.
Louise, have a seat, please. You don't think they're related? They have the same last name. Louise, have a seat, please. The Wright brothers changed the way people travel. Are they related?
Yes.
Why? How are they?
They're brothers.
They're brothers. It tells us that, doesn't it? Scientists and inventors have changed the world in big and small ways. So, Orville and Wilbur Wright brothers changed the way people travel. If you had to guess, what do you think they invented? They changed the way people travel. Look at the picture. What do you think they invented? What do you think, Louise? You think they invented the airplane? Guess we'll find out. Okay. Let's go down here to the bottom left. Alexander Graham Bell changed the way people communicate when he invented the telephone. George Washington Carver showed people better ways to grow crops and created hundreds of uses for
Peanut butter.
peanuts. Peanut butter? Peanuts. Here, make sure you follow along. In 1905, Madame C.J. Walker invented a new way to take care of African American women's hair. All right, let's go to page 2. Scientists and inventors. This is really interesting. Benjamin Banneker studied the stars and planets. He predicted a solar eclipse would happen on April 14th, 1789, and he was right. Margaret, her nickname is Maddie Knight, was only 12 when she started inventing things. In 1868, she invented a machine to make paper grocery bags. Benjamin Franklin. Have you ever heard of Benjamin Franklin? No? Oh, he's very famous. He is famous for his experiments with electricity. He also invented bifocals, which are glasses. Bifocals are these glasses that they have kind of a line on them. A lot of older people wear them. When they get older, they have to have those. And the first lightning rod. We'll go back and talk about what some of these things are. Carlos Finley was a Cuban doctor who helped prove that mosquitoes carry yellow fever. So they carry a disease. Page 3. Did you know Thomas Edison, has anybody heard of Thomas Edison?
No.
No. Created more than 1,000 inventions. Wow. He invented the light bulb, the film projector, and the phonograph. A phonograph is a machine that records sound and plays them back. Let's read about Benjamin Franklin. When Benjamin Franklin and Benjamin Banneker were young, America was a new country. What did kids do for fun back then? There's no TV or video games, so children play games like hopscotch and tag and hide and seek. They also played with kites and yo-yos. Can you imagine not having TV, video games, electricity? Can you imagine? You can imagine that, Louise? We're so used to it, aren't we? We walk in a room and we flip on a light, right? It's always there, isn't it? Yep. The TV's always there. The video games are always there. These kids didn't have those kind of things. They had to create their own things.
So they didn't know that.
They didn't even know what a TV was. It wasn't even invented yet. They had no idea what a television was. Yeah. Let's finish reading this bottom paragraph. Some inventions were discovered accidentally. I like this part. One day, Ruth Wakefield wanted to make chocolate cookies, but she didn't have the right kind of chocolate. She chopped up a chocolate candy bar and stirred it in the cookie dough. The bits of chocolate didn't melt, and the chocolate chip cookie was born. Wow. All right, so some of the things I want you to think about. Does anybody, based upon what we've read so far, can you tell me what an inventor might be? What do you think an inventor is?
Like if they anybody have built before?
They've made things that nobody has ever made before? Good idea. Gabrielle?
They make something and no one made it before.
Right. They're the first ones. They created it, right? What are some things that you know of that have been invented? Luis? The bicycle was invented. Fatima? What? The television was invented.
Video games.
Video games were invented. Lights, which uses what? Electricity was invented. Gabrielle, can you think of something? What's something that you use every day when you get ready for school? Something you use every day. Oh, let's say my hair is really wet and I don't want to go to school with a wet head, so I use a hairbrush was invented. That's right. I was thinking of a blow dryer. Luis. Backpack was invented. Everything has been invented. Juan, give me an example of something that was invented. Everything was invented. Give me an idea. Books were invented. Yes, someone had to invent how to take a book and how to get the pictures on the pages and how to make it stay together so you could read it. They invented that. So the people who did this are called inventors, okay? So, can you imagine life without a telephone, without a TV, without a car, without electricity, without a refrigerator? Everything can you think about. People used to live like that. People used to have none of those things. But we're so used to having it, we can't imagine life without it, can we? No. Okay, so if you see here, I've given you a packet. We are going to go over some vocabulary words out of this reading. Okay? So the first vocabulary word is inventor. So up there where it says word, write inventor. Maximo, can you pull your chair in a little bit, please? There you go. Okay, so our first word is what?
Inventor.
Inventor. Very good. So we've got up here inventor. The definition, what we think that word means. We've talked about this. So what could we say would be a definition for that word? Gabrielle?
Someone who creates something that hasn't been on earth before.
Exactly. Yep. So we've got the definition. A person who creates, can you see this? Something create something new. Maximo, if you want to move over here so you can see that, that would be fine. You want to move right here? Gabrielle, if you want to move to the edge of the table so you can see, that would be fine. You want to sit right here so you don't have to turn around. Okay. Okay. Shorten this up here. Put your pencil in the air when you are ready to go on to the next part. Why don't you turn sideways like this? Okay, we're almost there. Are any of you inventors? Luis, you're an inventor? What did you invent? You forgot. Think about that. I'd like to know what you invented, okay? Can you all be inventors? Is there stuff that's still not been created yet? Fatima, you can be an inventor?
I invented a two-sided pencil.
A what?
A two-sided pencil.
A two-sided pencil. Oh, because you guys, you sharpen the other end, right? Yep. Nobody thought of that. Nobody thought of that in second grade. Okay. A sentence using the word inventor. Anybody got an idea? Adriana.
We could write that
Think of your sentence. What?
we have made a two-sided pencil.
Okay, but we have to use the word inventor in our
We
sentence.
have
Remember, inventor's talking about a person. The person who's made something. Okay, it's okay if you can't do it. Gabrielle? Yes. How about, okay, here we go. We have many inventors. We have many inventors. Let's say in the U.S., in the United States. In the U.S. We have many inventors in the U.S. That's totally true. You guys probably know an inventor. Put your pencil up in the air when you're ready to go on. Nice job. Synonym is a word that means the. A synonym means the word that means the same. Yes. Synonym same. I think of the first letter. I think of synonym same. Okay? They both start with the same letter. So this is going to be a challenge. We need to think of a word that means the same thing as inventor. Got one, Louise? Maker. Okay. Maker. Anybody else got one? This is down here at the bottom where it says synonyms. Down here at the very bottom. Gabrielle.
Creator.
Creator. Yes. The creator. Anybody else? Those are good words. Now the other side is antonyms. Antonyms mean words that mean, if this is the same, these are words that are different, not alike, okay? Something that's different from inventor means the opposite of inventor. Think about this, an inventor came up with it on their own, right? They invented it. It was their idea. If someone takes an idea and says, oh, I'm going to use his idea and call it my own, they're called a
Steal.
kind of. Yeah, they're stealing someone else's idea, aren't they? If someone gets an answer on a paper and you look over at their paper and you say, oh, letter C, I'm going to write that on mine. You're being it's cheating, yes, a copycat. Yeah, they're being a copycat. They're taking someone else's idea and calling it their own, aren't they? They're not an inventor. They didn't come up with the idea. Okay? All right. Nice job. Should we put a picture on here to help us remember the word? What kind of picture should we put? That would help us remember, hey, that's inventor. What do you think?
The two brothers that
Oh, I don't know if I can draw the two brothers.
we can try our best.
Let's try doing something a little more simple, like, what's something we discussed that was invented? Light bulbs. Perfect. So, anywhere on your paper, let's draw a picture of a light bulb. Ooh, and I'm not a good artist. You'll find that out. Light bulbs. Light bulbs were invented. Nice light bulb. Okay. So when you get that, turn to the next page. So in this Studies Weekly, we're talking about two different kinds of people. Inventors and scientists. Scientist is going to be our next word. Okay, has everybody got this? Yep. Okay, you got this one? Yep, you're going on. All right. Scientists. All right, so. Scientists. Yep. Look at your spelling. Look up there on the board, Maximo. Look how you spell scientist. Or look up there, look on the front of your studies. Scientist. All right. So in our Studies Weekly, scientists. Where did we talk about scientists? We really didn't say much about scientists specifically, did we? Scientists and inventors have changed the way. So, I get the feeling they're kind of alike, don't you? They're kind of the same kind of person. So, does anybody know a definition we could use for the word scientist? If we looked this up in the dictionary, what would it say? Scientist. Have you ever heard the word scientist? Juan, have you ever heard the word scientist? Yeah? Okay. I'll help you out on this one. A scientist is a person who studies. What do you think they study? Scientist. A person who studies science. Woohoo! Scientist. A person who studies science. So yes, like rocks, earthquakes, all that kind of stuff scientists like to study, okay? A person who studies science and is an expert. Do you know what an expert is? You are an expert at what? What's something you're an expert at? At doing nails. That means you do an awesome job, right? You know what you're doing and you know how to do it. What's something you're an expert at, Luis? Okay. Fatima, what's something you're an expert at? Come up with it. Think about it. Reading chapter books? Making. You write? Oh, wow. That is awesome. Everybody has something that they're different at being an expert at. Maybe you're an expert in karate. Maybe you're an expert reader. Maybe you're an expert at doing your homework. You always do it, and you always do it right. Some people think they're an expert cook. Yes.
I'm an expert at drumming because when I was drumming on my legs when the was hard.
Oh yeah, so you're an expert at being a drummer. Good job. Okay, so we need to use scientist in a sentence. Scientist. Maximo, can you think of a sentence? Luis, just wait. Go ahead and sit up in your seat chair. You can get that when we're finished. Scientist. Maximo, think of a sentence using the word scientist. What's some things that we said a scientist studies? Studies science. So what kind of things go with science? When you study science in school, what kind of things do you study? What do you talk about? Anybody got an idea? Tell them something you study in science. Nature. Or rocks. Or dirt. Or trees. Scientists study all kinds of things. So what if we said a scientist likes to study rocks? Is that a good sentence? Okay, let's do that. A scientist likes to study rocks. A scientist likes to study rocks. Anybody want to be a scientist when you get big? You do? What kind of scientist? Do you know there's all kinds of scientists? There's scientists who study marines, like dolphins and whales and sharks. There's scientists who study the land. There's scientists who study the water, the oceans. Yes. because they're trying to figure out how it happens, aren't they?
And
Yeah.
when it's common.
That's right. There's scientists who study chemicals. Like they study all the chemicals that are made by Earth, and they study and see what they can do with them and what they can make and how they work together and they don't work together. Yes?
And the scientists that study dinosaur bones.
Right. Yep. There sure is. Okay, so a word that means the same, a synonym for scientist. You got one? No? Every other? Studier, kind of, yeah. What did I say? Let me think here. If they're a scientist, they are a what? Expert. Yes, let's use that. Expert. The scientist is also known as an expert. They know what they're talking about. They know what they're studying. Okay. Scientists also take this, and they see what they can do if they put them together. So they're doing an experiment. Yes, but what they're doing is a test. They're being testers. They're testing to see if this and this put together, this happens. They're doing a test, okay? So they're also known as testers. Scientists are also known as testers. Now, scientists don't know everything, okay? Because we're all humans. We can't know everything, right? So sometimes they have to read books, read on the internet, watch videos, watch movies. They have to go out into the wild and get stuff. They have to do something to get more information. What do we do in school when we need more information? What's the word? We ask. Well, we have to do it on our own. We learn. How do we learn? What do we do? If I'm going to go out on the internet, I'm going to say, what kind of rocks are in the ground? The internet's helping me do what? Research. Yes, they're researchers. They have to go out and research and find out things that maybe are new or something's happened. They have to research to find out why that happened. They are researchers. Okay? Words that are opposite, antonym of scientist. Opposite. So, opposite of tester or expert or researchers. Okay, so let's look. This one's kind of hard. These are kind of big words. A novice. A novice is someone who's kind of just starting to learn about something. They don't know a whole lot. So they're not an expert, are they? Are you a novice at 5th grade math? No. What about 3rd grade math? Are you guys a novice? Have you learned some 3rd grade math? A little, but you don't know all of it, right? So you're not an expert, but you're a novice, okay? So you're learning, but you haven't learned all of it, okay? It's really hard to come up with words that mean different than scientists, so I think we'll just stick with the one. Now, what can we draw for a picture to remind ourselves of this word? We see that picture and we know that that means scientist. Dinosaur bones? That's a good one. Some dinosaur bones. Scientists, they explore dinosaur bones. Here's one I'm thinking of. When I think of scientists, I think of this. This is called a flask. Okay? And in here is stuff that they put in here and it makes bubbles. And have you ever put maybe a science experiment. You put this thing in, and then you pour this in, and then it explodes like a volcano. Yeah.
Mrs. B,
Uh-huh.
my brother's in high school and he's gonna go to a class that includes chemicals.
Yes, so he's going to do things scientists do. So this is called a flask, and that's what I think of when I think of a scientist. Okay? And this has got little numbers on the side. Okay? Abraham.
I did an experiment once and there was this container and you can make something with the clay, so I told you what to make it with. And after you're done making it, you could put it in the container and then put it in the water and the clay, it didn't just get wet and it didn't make anymore, it stayed together.
Cool. All right, so flip your papers over. Just turn them over so you can't see them. Okay, just turn them over once you get this. Getting it? Did you get it? You get everything, Maximum? Okay, turn your paper over. Okay. Thank you for listening so well, giving me such great ideas. So, what is the first word we talked about today? Inventor. What's an inventor? Maximo. Someone who created something. Is it something that somebody else came up with? It's an idea of their own, right? They came up with it. It's their idea. Okay? And what's the second word we learned today?
Scientist.
Scientist. Juan, can you tell me what a scientist is? What is a scientist? They study. Yes. What do they study? Rocks. Yeah. Physical stuff. Yeah. They study science. Are they an expert? Are scientists an expert? Do they know what they're talking about? Yeah. Good job. Okay. So now you know what an inventor and a scientist is. And even though we have all this stuff in the world that's been invented, people are still going to be inventors and scientists because there's so many things that haven't been created yet. Like flying cars. People are working on trying to invent a flying car. Or a car that drives itself. You just tell it where to go and it drives itself. They're trying to invent that. They're trying to come up with that. Pretty cool, huh? So when you guys are older, it'll be neat to look back and see what's been invented since you were little. Okay? So, all right. Go ahead and gather your belongings. Don't go anywhere yet.